Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Tina with Sponge and Stamp. Today's project we are going to be recreating this sweet and simple card, and by adding just a few more embellishments we are going to change it from sweet and simple to a wowzer of a card. So let me show you how, and let's get started. So the stamp sets that we're going to be using are Painted Harvest, which is a two-step stamp set, and it is brand new in the holiday catalog, which goes live September 1st. We're going to be using Label Me Pretty along with the Coordinating Punch Pretty Me Label, and this is new in the annual catalog. We're going to be using Berry Burst, Fresh Fig, Tranquil Tide, Chocolate Chip, and Crumb Cake ink pads. Okay, so let's get to stamping. I'm going to be using Very Vanilla, and this is cut at 5.5 by 3, and we're going to do our stamping on that. And with a two-step stamping, you have two images here. One is more solid and one is more detailed. We're going to start with the solid one, and we're going to stamp with the lighter shade, which is Berry Burst. We're going to get this opened up here. Now, just a little tip for you. I use this little skinny little petal as my guide that has this little tab right here. And I just kind of remember which way I placed it. So that will help when I come in with my second stamp. So I'm just going to start off with a flower right here. And I'm going to go straight down and straight up. And then we're going to do it again, and I'm going to come over and off the page just a little bit, or off the cardstock, straight down, straight up. And then one more time right over here off the cardstock just a little bit again, straight down and straight up. There we go. So now we have the base of our sunflower, which it's not your typical yellow or orange. I wanted it to be a little different, but I still wanted it to have a fallish effect to it. So we're going to be using Fresh Fig for our second stamp, and right here is my little tab that I'm going to line up with this little skinny little stem that comes up. So I'm also going to use the circle, the center here as a guide as well. And we're just going to stamp straight down and straight up. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Ink that up and line this up. And I'm kind of coming in at an angle here because I can't really see without sticking my head in the camera. So we're going to try this. Again, just lining up, kind of remembering the direction that I went in. Straight down, straight up. There we go. Beautiful. So now we're just going to use this leaf right here. And I'm not going to do a two stamp on this one. I'm just using the more solid pattern because I just wanted it to have a little softer look. I'm going to close up these ink pads and I'm going to bring in Tranquil Tide. And I'm only going to ink up to where the three stems meet. Okie-dokie. We're going to come down here, and I'm just kind of like eyeball where I want my leaf to go. And I think right about there is good. Straight down, straight up. Beautiful. I'm happy with that. Oops, wrong way. Well, where is my white? Try this again. Okay, so just to where the three leaves meet, and then I think I'm going to put this one probably right about there, straight down, straight up. And one more time. And I don't like that. I think I'm just going to wipe that down just a little bit. It came a little too far. One more time here, and let's go right about here, straight down, straight up. Okay, so I am really happy with that. Now we're going to put, one more process. We have this little dotted thing right here that can go in the center of the flower, and actually I got ahead of myself. We need to stamp the center. So I'm using chocolate chip for that, and I'm using the center of the flower, and I'm going to line that up like a puzzle piece. You just follow the shape that's inside of the center of the flower, and I'm trying to line this up without sticking my head in the camera again. I'm just going to move this down and hope and pray that I didn't move it down too far so that you guys can still see. Straight down. One more time. And there we go. Just a little bit further down there. There we go. Okay, so there is that. So you have your little dots here. You can stamp this up and then put them in the center of your flower, but we're not going to do that on this card. We are going to pull in crumb cake, and I'm just going to give a little interest to the card here by just randomly stamping around. I don't want too much because I don't want it to be too busy. So we're just going to put a couple of dots around. Just there. I think that that is probably good. We'll put one more right there. Maybe a little bit right here. There we go. I think that that looks really nice. So now we're going to set this aside, and we're going to bring in our cardstock, which I'm using Rich Razzleberry, and this is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've already folded it and gave it a nice crisp fold with my bone folder. The reason why I'm using Rich Razzleberry is because I wanted it to have a little bit of a fall feel, and I thought that the Berry Burst cardstock was just a little too bright, and the Fresh Fig was just a little darker than what I wanted to go. And when I was playing around with the cardstock, I saw that the Rich Razzleberry really went quite nicely with it, with the two colors together, with the Fresh Fig and the Berry Burst. So that's what I decided to go with. So we're going to glue this down to our card base. And let's see here. Make sure I have it turned the right way. And I like using my liquid glue because it gives me a little wiggle room to make sure that I have it on straight and lined up the way that I would like for it to be lined up. So I think that that's probably pretty good right there. I think so anyway. Okay. So now I'm gonna, actually we have some more stamping to do. So we need to stamp the sentiment. So what I'm using with that is Label Me Pretty, and we're using this image right here and then this sentiment that says you're the best. I'm gonna bring it in, I'm gonna stamp it in Tranquil Tide. I like this block better. Okay, so I'm just going to ink that up all nice. And I'm just going to put it on here. Put it on there. Stamp it on there. There we go. Now I'm going to bring in the sentiment. You're the best. I'm going to block that up on my clear block. And I'm going to use Berry Burst. And we are just going to ink that up all nice and stamp it down pretty good. Okay, I just hope it was in the camera. Alrighty, so we're going to take our punch, my pretty label punch, line this up and punch it out. If I can get it lined up. I think that's probably good. It's a little high on one side, but it will be just fine. Also, I think I'm going to stamp one of the leaves out and punch it out with the new coordinating leaf punch that coordinates with Painted Harvest. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, but I am going to ink it up and punch it out just in case. So this one, I think I do want the full stem. So I'm just going to stamp that straight down, straight up. One of the things that I love about the Painted Harvest is it's just that. It looks like it was watercolored painted. And I love working with two-step stamps because it just gives it so much more definition. And it looks like you worked really hard on it and you really didn't. So we're going to line this up. Well, it slipped on me. Probably right about there, I think. Well, all right, so there we go. So we have that. So now we're going to bring in back in our card here, and I'm going to add a strip that is 3/8 of an inch, excuse me, wide, and I'm just going to add that on to the side. And this is Tranquil Tide, and I'm also going to bring in a 1/4 inch strip of crumb cake. And we're just going to glue those on to the side like so. So let's bring in our glue. And I have it longer than the card because I'm going to show you why. Because sometimes when you cut something at the width that you need it to be, or the length, sometimes it's just a little shy of being the right length. If you miscut something just a tiny bit, it will be off a little. So this way we can just trim that off and then it will be perfect. Okay, so let's put some glue on this. See, isn't this already stepping it up a notch or two here? I really like just adding some extra elements to it. No, don't dry yet. Okay. There we go. Right over, right over. I think that looks pretty good to me. Okay. Now I'm just going to trim this off, flush with my card, just like so. There we go. Now we're going to, on this card, see how it already makes a difference on the two cards? Now I'm going to, this one I just glued down. This one I'm going to pop up. I'm going to use some dimensionals here. Well, maybe I will. Okay. Just like so. And I think I want it probably right about there. So we're going to pop that up a little. It's a little bit crooked. Let's pull this up just a little bit. There we go. Now, I stamped this and punched it out because I thought that it would add just maybe a little bit of dimension if we just kind of like layered that on there like so. Okay, so let's just put a little glue on here. I probably should have done this before I put it down. Well, yeah, I should have, but I didn't, so we'll work with it. Just like that. I think that will be good. Let that dry, and then we'll bring this back down. There we go. I like that. Now for our final touch, I think, unless I decide to add some rhinestones, I'm taking some silver baker's twine. Now this is retired, but there is some ribbon in the annual catalog that would work quite nicely. There's the 1/4 inch natural trim, and you can get it with the gold or the silver in it. And you've got the 8 inch ribbon with the gold or the silver. So we're going to just wrap this twice. I think. And pull this around here. And I need some more on this side. Give me enough to tie a bow with. Come down here, pull it over to the side. Now I'm going to just tie a knot here because that will help it stay tight. Well, it's supposed to anyway. I've got some glue on my fingers, so it's wanting to stick to the twine. Okay. There we go. So now I'm just going to tie a little bow. Just like so. And I can pull these strings. I'm going to go ahead and give this a trim with my ribbon scissors here. Right about there and right about there, and then we can play with our bow till we get it to look just like we want it to look. There we go. I think that is going to be perfect. Okay, so now we're just going to give this a little trim, and there we go. And we can move this up a little if we want it to. Just slide it up some. Like so. And there we go. We took Sweet and Simple, and by adding just a few extra things, we turned it to a wow card. Now we can add some little sparkles on there, some rhinestones, and that will step it up a notch or two as well. We can do that, or you know, we could even use some of the gold faceted gems and maybe place 1 or 2 on there, 2 or 3 on there. Get my little poker out here and just kind of guess where you might want them. Like, no, I don't like that, so we'll bring this over a little more. Like maybe right there. My little glue dot is sticking out the side and I don't like that, so we're gonna tuck that in there. Stick maybe, well, that right there. And then we can pull another one out of here and maybe stick that one right there. And then another one maybe down here. And there we go. Now we have Cute and Simple to wow. Now, and it's pretty easy to do that, and it didn't take a whole lot of extra stuff to do it. And it was really simple. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my video. Sorry for a couple of bloopers. I don't edit my videos because I want to keep it real. But anyway, you can find these supplies in my store at www.tinacarini.stampinup.net. And you can also find me on Facebook at Sponge and Stamp and follow any of the inspirational ideas that I may post in classes and specials and all kinds of stuff like that. So check it out and give me a like. And if you like this video, please subscribe and click on like. Okay, thanks you guys. Have a great day.